So hello everybody and welcome back to the Comfort Level Podcast.
We're on the show.
I'm Maddie. This is Brandon. We're here with Sam over there.
Hey.
His number 6 best friend, Josh.
I upgraded?
You did upgrade.
Oh, man. Yeah,
So-
thank you.
Niagara Falls boosted you.
Did it? You
Yeah.
said it lowered me to like 10.
I think overall.
That's what he was telling everybody.
Overall, it did help you.
Really?
Yeah.
He was telling everybody that.
I told everybody. I told Husker. Husker didn't listen.
It's just Husker never listens. If he's not barking, he's not listening.
What do you listen to? Do you not have TikTok?
The Comfort Level Podcast, of course.
Oh, shout out.
Oh, shout out.
Merch down below.
Merch down below. Click the link in bio for some merch.
Yeah.
I just listen to streams like this next story.
There you go.
There you go.
So this one is from Best of Redditor Updates. My friends and fiance decided to harass me on stream.
Friend and fiance. That's bad. Hey, shout out J-Money or J-MENACE now.
J-MENACE.
And
beat you.
Andy, right?
I beat you,
And Andy?
J-MENACE.
Yeah, and Andy too.
Keep
But
that in
it
the
was-
episode.
It was
Keep that
Oh,
in
the
episode.
give-a-thon.
J-MENACE, you lost. Yeah, I said that in the episode.
You're gonna see it like 2 months later.
That's
Because
right,
it happened like a month ago.
She forgot all about it. They come back. I'm like,
they had okay, so I stream on TikTok and you can do all the gifts and stuff. And I look over and I see I think J-MENACE, she gave a rose. And I was like, oh, J-MENACE a rose. Ah. Then I look over again and I see Sam drops like 5 roses. I was like, Sam with the 5 roses. For some odd reason, J-MENACE cannot lose. So they just get into this gifting war, just back and forth, all the way up until the end. And J-MENACE says, I can't financially recover. And Sam said, that sucks. I won. Leaves the chat, comes back and said, oh yeah, I forgot. Drops one more gift and leaves. And I was like,
You know, I've been meaning to talk to you about that. That was my mortgage that I put on there, so I'm going to need that back. We can talk about that on podcast.
I actually spent it. All the gifts go to like game fund and so.
Okay.
I mean, maybe if you just play Cyberpunk or something.
I might be homeless. I'm saying we're cousins. Okay.
We
That's
got
cool.
extra rooms here, so
Oh, that's true.
you got
Okay.
a couch right there with a hat.
I might be living at the Comfort Level Podcast
Yay.
location.
Just this. I like how he suggested the smallest couch too.
That is kind of crazy. I'm like, I can't
Also,
do
it's
it. You're
with
like,
the
no,
hat.
It's a little comfort
I
thing.
don't want to be anywhere near that hat.
The leg's a little busted, so you're just going to
It
fall in the
is.
middle of the
Oh my
night.
God, definitely is going to fall.
My friends and fiance decide to harass me on stream. I've been streaming for 2 weeks now, and tonight I was streaming by myself. My fiance is out playing board games with some friends of ours. I asked him to stop into the chat at some point because I thought it'd be nice to have him pop in. I talk about my fiance on stream occasionally, and I've gotten a request or two to see him show up in the cam. Tonight started off well, with some new viewers attracted by some VODs someone made of a tournament I was in, and then I got some new people in the chat. The tone to their messages made me wary, so as soon as I saw the penis tit pic starting to show up in the chat, I banned them. And then my phone starts blowing up. I saw that it was a friend of mine at the board game night, so I figured she just kept wanting to chat about random stuff. I let it go and kept playing. And then other people started showing up in the chat and being kind of sleazy, like, do you have a boyfriend kind of stuff. I started to think I was getting a mini brigade by trolls. My fiance's username shows up in the chat and I jokingly asked if he wants mod powers. I say it's him on stream thinking it'll help other guys get the message. I got a quick lull in the game. I figure I'll check my phone to see what my friend desperately wanted. And the first message reads, unban me, I'll be good. Oh my God, it's my friend. Figuring she learned that I'm not going to put up with that crap after the ban, I unban her. And then the rest of the picture shows up. Immediate ban, I'm appalled. Meanwhile, my fiance has started the freaking hashtag about the puppies, referring to our dogs, I thought, but apparently it's about showing someone's chest or something, and then does the Pikachu thing in the chat. The guy I have admitted and openly adored on my chat is revealing himself to be an immature asshole as a prank on my chat in front of my viewers when I'm trying to gain an audience. To top it all off, after all of my other viewers are chased away, save 3, the last friend that's there starts talking about a rehearsal dinner coordination for her wedding in my chat with absolutely zero context for my viewers. My stream is not your goddamn group chat. I feel so hurtful and humiliated. After they all left, all left before I could ban them. I lost all but one of my viewers. I had to switch to my cooldown game that doesn't require as much concentration because I was reading my fiance the riot act for doing that. He said that he understands me being upset, but I reacted really poorly. That I shouldn't ban ASCII art. Oh, fuck that. Suggestive shit's not going to be allowed on my chat, period. And that Pikachu was a mistake. Apparently with my attitude, my channel won't go well. Oh, really? So tolerating your bullshit would have kept me viewers. After I've been steadily increasing my views and follows. What? He did apologize and insist on talking more when he gets home instead of over chat, but I'm sorry, I'm so hurt right now. I can't believe that people I name my friends would do this to me. Sure, it's light harassment, nothing at all compared with the sorts of messages I get occasionally on LinkedIn even, and my fiance admits that I handled it well with the bans and not discussing/cussing out the trolls on stream. But I feel so betrayed. They wouldn't do this to our guy friends if they were on stream, and my fiance didn't even defend me. He basically encouraged it. That's her question right now, and this actually was initially put into r/girl gamers.
So what was her question?
Yeah, she's like upset by it because the people who were trolling her were people that should have been there to support her, but they were randoms at first and then they revealed themselves to be her friends.
Well, I think she should be upset because everyone knows being a female in content creation of any type, but especially gaming, you already got odds stacked against you. There's already going to be people trolling you based on you just being a girl. There's going to be crazy comments. So especially if it seems like she's like a very small content creator. So if you're small and you're having people come and support you and they're just trolling you and not in a very funny way or ways that you're not even let in on the joke, I get getting pissed about that. I would be pretty pissed because you're like, hey, I'm trying to build this something up. And the people who are supposed to be helping me are working against me, making jokes against me, which are already happening. Like, this is just the nature of being a girl doing this. People are going to be doing this already. So why are you already doubling down on that?
Yeah, I kind of get where she's coming from because before I did this, I streamed for like a few months and it just ended up taking up way too much of my life, like literally 3 hours a night, 3 times a week, so 12 hours a week for streaming, and it just really wasn't that beneficial. It just didn't do well. But I remember the people that I had in my stream in the beginning were all friends and family who were there to support me, even if they didn't know what I was streaming about.
Right.
And if I was trying to get something off the ground and I had people kind of actively, seemingly working against me, because she said she already had some regular viewers in the chat, she had new people. But what these people were saying and how they were trolling, it sent all of her viewers away.
Right.
So even when you're starting to stream, your friends and family do not have an obligation to be there. They can just support you by like subscribing or whatever. They don't have to be there to watch you or whatever. But if they are going to be there, they should be helping you, not hindering you when you're already trying to create an audience that is not them. Because at the end of the day, even if they're your friends and family, they're not going to probably be interested in what you want to stream. So they can show their support in other ways. And if you're getting an audience of people that actually want to watch you and want to listen to you and they're pushing them away, then that is really frustrating.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I agree with what you guys said. The being a woman on the internet just comes with things and harassment that no one would want. No one would ever want the unwanted attention. I do find a lot of the details of the story a little weird, though. Mm-hmm. I mean, because you were saying, yes, if they were harassing their community, that would be one thing. But she was talking about 3 viewers, like.
Well, she said it ended with all of her viewers leaving but 3 people, and then by the end, once they all left, there was 1 person. So I think she was saying by the time when they were like screwing around, everybody left, so there's only 3 people left.
Yeah. There were just a lot of weird details to me. I don't know what they were streaming on. Maybe it was like early YouTube streaming days or whatever. YouTube is kind of still a little bit of the Wild West, but being able to post like some of the ASCII art like that, and honestly, her not knowing like what some of the slang for some of this stuff was. is a little odd.
Mhm.
Also, she mentioned getting harassed on LinkedIn. I'm sure that happens, but like that's a weird detail.
Mhm.
I don't know. This story just felt weird
Oh,
to
man,
me,
it's
in my
expose.
opinion.
Yeah, I don't think it was written in the best way. I mean, even though it was on Reddit or updates, it came from Gamer Girls initially, so it wasn't really written in a way to be like storytelling. It was probably written in a way to be asking girls who can relate to this, like if she should be frustrated for it. And she does go on to say in the updates that she understands that what they were doing wasn't really a big deal. It was just the fact of when she found out who was behind it, that's what hurt her. Was the people, her friends and family who were doing that. Not friends and family, her fiance and friends.
Right. And I can empathize with that. That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, okay, maybe I got it wrong because now I'm just feeling like it was ASCII art. For some reason, I was thinking like they were posting her something, but it was ASCII art.
Yeah.
Of like a boob, I'm guessing. Or
Penis.
something. Or
And
penis.
then the Pikachu shocked face, which is that like a
It's not
like a
weird.
finishing? I don't know.
No.
The Pikachu.
Well, because
Oh, hold on. It's going to be now. Thank you, r/comfort level pod.
r/come.
You heard
check
it here
out.
first.
And check out our stream every second Saturday.
Every second Saturday.
We have a lot of fun. We play games. We read stories.
Mm-hmm.
This
And
is
there's-
my shocked Pikachu
And there is
face.
shocked Pikachu faces. I'll tell you that right now.
I don't know why the shocked Pikachu face. It must be a different one because I don't know. But yeah, the whole thing about the puppies, like the fiance being like something about, or maybe it was a friend. Like I said, it was hard to follow, and there's more context later on a little bit.
Well, I'm curious about like when you used to stream and you stream now. Like when we come into your streams, there would be jokes that happen. I think are like along. I don't think I ever did ASCII art or anything, but I'm like there were jokes like that that I would say for sure when you guys were streaming, even though I did subscribe to Maddie and then she immediately quit streaming after I did that. But I'm not mad
No,
about that.
I streamed for
Yeah.
like 2 or 3 months
Yeah,
straight, and then
maybe.
Sam subscribed to me for like 5 or 6 months.
And she stopped a couple weeks later. So it's like I supported. but that's
You
not
did. You gave the most
Yeah.
money of everybody that I ever, because you subscribed for so long. I was like, oh my god, thanks,
because I
Sam.
support my friends. But anyway, that's not what I'm talking about. But I'm like, there are jokes like that, especially when you're starting out and you're like, hey, I'm supporting you and I'm making jokes, and then you interact with that joke. I wonder if there was something with her and her fiance or something that was like is on top of this of why she's upset or mad about it. Because it doesn't seem like normal friend thing to do, especially with streamers, to joke around to like help them build the community, like build an environment or a vibe.
Yeah. I mean, if she was friends with them, like, I'm sure she's in some sort of group chat already. It's like, if you don't know how they act in over text, I mean, yeah, it seems a little weird. I could see it being like, you know, she's still really upset about it, and that's fair to be upset about it.
Mm-hmm.
And she just wants someplace to vent, and I think that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's a really interesting story. So first, she's not wrong for what she feels. But I think the thing is, you know, when you're streaming, the biggest thing is you're trying to build the community, right? If you have people that you know personally are coming in and actively breaking apart that community, that is a little heart shattering.
Yeah.
Like when you guys join the stream, like you see the people that are in my stream, like they just come, they're just like chill, like, oh my God, it's you guys. But it's like, they're like that with everybody that comes in. And it's a lot more weird on TikTok because it goes in like ebbs and flows. Like there'll be some days I have like 200 views and some days I'll have like 1,000 viewers. And it's like, I don't know where any of these people came from, but like that core group of people, like when you're first starting, is very vital to keep around, and your friends coming in and kind of disrupting that flow, and enough to the point where they're just outright just leaving the stream. Like, granted, that could be just one stream, but I don't know. I feel like that's where I think it would hurt the most.
Yeah.
If you're actively making members of a community that I'm trying to build leave, you're messing up.
Well, even with like boring them, like I just recently started watching one of my favorite movies ever is What We Do in the Shadows. And so I recently started watching the show. And at first I was like, sorry, I was on the movie train first, and I was like, I like the movie better.
Oh, so.
And I think it's also because of the actors that are in that movie. But anyway, the show is growing on me. Like, there's moments where I'm like, okay, that's stupid,
Yeah,
but it's
Nadia?
funny. Yeah, Nadia
Yeah, Nadia.
is really funny. But so the show is based on like vampires, and this human camera crew comes in the house just to like videotape them in their life.
Like The Office style.
Yeah, and there is one vampire that was not in the movie that I think is really funny, and it's like a vampire that drains your energy
Oh, yeah, Colin.
because they are so boring that they take all of your energy. Anyway, so what I'm saying is that's like there's been times where I've probably done it in your stream too, like on accident, and then realizing I changed the conversation and it got boring. Is like I will try and talk to you about something like personal, like not super personal, but like, hey, so blah 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 on Saturday or whatever. And I haven't done it a lot, but it will like change the dynamic because it changes it from like an Oprah conversation that everybody can be a part of to, okay, that only consists of you and him.
Yeah, you're like alienating people.
And depending on how long you choose to continue to only talk to me about that one thing, you're alienating people. Nobody else is part of the conversation. Why would they stay? They don't want to hear about this random, like, I think she was saying like bridal shower or bridal party.
Right.
Like, I don't want to hear about that, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's another thing too, where your friends might unknowingly bore your audience so that they leave too, because they're like, yeah, you're just talking to your friend about something. And
yeah. And I think that streaming is actually a lot more complicated than it looks.
Oh, for sure.
Because it's moments like those where when you would come in, it'd be like just like one of those one-off comments, but then like you have to know how to navigate those conversations really fast. Like I guess that's what I do. I would always just navigate them fast. So it's like someone says this and someone says that. So I'll just go 1, 2. But then in the meantime, my problem is I just get caught in the middle. Like if I'm going from one conversation to the next, but something crazy happens in the game, I'll just completely forget all conversation. Oh my God, it was so funny because two of the people that watch me, they were like, Brandon, focus, because you're just everywhere. And I'm like, hey, you guys know me though, and they're like, yeah, and I was like, yeah. So what was I talking about?
So were there any other details in the updates?
yeah, so she gives some obligatory clarifications to answer a few common themes in the comments. This is my first time my fiance has done something like this disrespectful, which is why I was shocked. It's entirely out of character for him, and we've been dating for 3.5 years and living together for 1. He knew it was important. He's been very supportive in my efforts prior to now, loaning me his headset, helping me set up my dual monitors, and he offered to fix the wonky arrow thing going on in my broadcast. Honestly, I didn't really care about the stupid shit coming in chat. Less than 24 hours after that, all this went down, I had a rando troll ask if I ever showed my tits on stream, and I laughed it off and bonked him with the ban hammer. It was the fact that my friends and my publicly acknowledged fiance thought that it was appropriate on a stream that I ran. I was hurt and humiliated and confused, not to mention furious that they'd run off my regular viewers. And yes, I know how my regulars work. I got a training in demographic audience retention for my day job. They were all drunk and together at the time. So what happened? Not 10 minutes after I posted my story, my fiance came home. It was comparably early too. And I found out later that he'd come home after our text conversation because he didn't want to have a conversation like this over the phone or via text. He found me absolutely sobbing, like snot dripping, shoulder shaking, whole 9 yards crying. Again, it was not the comments that hurt me, it was the people behind it. He started insisting that it wasn't him behind the catfishing comments that the bride friend was making. Part of the original harassment was somebody pretending to be a loner type looking for a girl to be nice to him sort of thing. I just blinked at him thinking, you thought that's why I was upset? The dogs needed to be taken out and I couldn't stand still to have this conversation, so still crying, we went to walk the dogs in the neighborhood at 11 p.m. I promised I'd not yell outside and wake the neighbors, but yeah, that didn't work out so well. Normally, I like taking some time to decompress and put things into perspective, so I'm not emotional when talking things through, but we didn't like to sleep on our anger and leave issues unresolved. It being super late, our usual discussion schedule was greatly compressed. My fiance's side of all this was that apparently the girls had said they'd stream my stream next week, And when my fiance told them that I asked for him to pop in, they all decided to chat. They're used to the big streams, and so they thought big stream behavior translated to mine. They also thought they joke around with what they said and then reveal themselves. That's why my phone was going off like crazy when they realized I was getting upset. I explained, yelled at him, and later my friend, who was twice banned, that sort of joking around we do in private is one thing. This was very much public and recorded for all it's online, and for it to be a joke, I'd need to be in on it. Otherwise, it's a bunch of people saying things like lower the cam and posting dick butts on my chats with no context, and then I get to feel betrayed when I find out who did it. I also explained to Fiance that the reason I was most upset was that I asked for his help in being some in-chat support to get rid of these trolls, and he just continued it. Apparently, he was watching on his phone in chat mode only and didn't realize I had asked. And he was defending me from some of the stupider shit that they were coming up with. Apparently, when the bride friend started her weird catfishing, they all gave her the business and made her cut it out. My twice banned friend said the bride friend didn't know how the chat worked, and that's why she posted wedding coordination there. I maintain that the issue was that I didn't know he was defending me, and he didn't stop. He didn't do it publicly on the venue he was using to bring me down. It made me feel small and like I couldn't trust him to support me on things I was trying to do. That cut him. He thought because it was little things like dick butts and immaturity that we toss that we toss around in private, and that I'd somehow understand it was them goofing off. By my emphasizing the public nature of what they were doing, by really telling him how important the stream was to me, he realized that he way crossed the line. I think he thought I wasn't really going to take it seriously. He was surprised and pleased to learn that I had 40 plus followers in less than 1 month. As it was, I bought a website domain and paid to route Whois registration through a proximity for privacy, started a Twitter and a blog, working on becoming a member of a podcast, and considering an ad campaign to really get this thing going off the ground once I figure out the format. That wasn't what he expected. Regardless of how important this is, he understood that he broke in trust with me. We went to bed with him apologizing a lot. He was no longer trying to justify his actions and understand, and said in his own words, not just parroting, why he was sorry. I spoke with my friend today. She didn't realize that my chat was any different than the big dog chats and thought I'd understand that it was them. She was annoyed that I banned her after the accidental posting of the second ASCII?
Yeah.
Of the second ASCII, which was a Pikachu, but I was in such a tizzy at the time that I couldn't interpret it and was scared it was profane. And before she could reveal her identity, she was also annoyed that I called her a bitch on stream. Well, congratulations. When you act like a bitch, I'll call you one. I think I managed to convey that I thought she was acting like a bitch at the time. So what do you guys think about that?
I have a lot more to say.
Okay.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be the Sam this episode. I'm against whatever this person is. First of all, Dick Butt didn't deserve strays like that. Okay.
Don't make it being the same.
Okay. This is. I'm doing my Sam behavior this episode.
Okay.
So doing
He's on his
intelligent,
Okay, first of all,
intelligent discourse. I guess. Okay. You do your Sam.
Okay, first of all, the saying they were trying to be like big stream behavior. Big streams have plenty of mods that don't allow that behavior. Like this whole story just seems so weird. And it feels like maybe airing out whatever issue she has with her fiance or friend group, whatever. This is no longer about streaming. It feels like she's offended by Pikachu face, but she's fine with calling someone a bitch on stream. Where's your line? Where's your line? It makes no sense to me. I have no idea what she's going on about in these updates. That's my last thought.
So about the Pikachu phase, for clarity. So apparently she thought it was going to be another penis, which is why she blocked it. And her friend was saying, I think this is what I just read. Her friend was saying, no, it was going to be a Pikachu phase, but you blocked it before you could see it because she thought it was going to be profane.
No,
He's like, I don't care.
I'm not with her anymore. I'm sorry.
I think I'm on the same train as Josh. Well, more specifically about seemingly how she's dragging this. Like, I get being disappointed, and maybe you didn't talk about how your friend should interact with you on stream, because it does seem like she's saying this is how they talk in their private chat. They make jokes like this. So maybe they didn't realize that they shouldn't be taking this public. That's fine. You can tell them that. But like, yelling at your fiance, like getting so mad at him, calling your friends a bitch and stuff. I'm like, this is where online things I'm like are causing issues in your thing. Like this streaming is a fake thing. It's just a thing that's on the internet and it's not that serious. You have a couple followers. It's fine. Just say you don't want that to happen again. They won't do it again. Move on. But now you're dragging it on, getting so angry at your friends and family. Then you're writing a Reddit story about it. Like we're supposed to like help you. I'm like, I don't think this needs to be a Reddit story, honestly.
And if you're taking this seriously, and you're like, oh, I'm this serious, blah blah blah, you're no longer doing this as a hobby. That's how that's how people become successful in streaming. Is you do it as a hobby for the joy. If you're no longer having joy in it, you're doomed already.
Yeah, that I guess those points remind me of something. I guess it's sort of to that point of hobby. Streaming is such a weird thing because it's people based. And now that you say that, I'm like, oh man, because I think about like the hardest times I've had doing streaming, but I still continue to do it. It's like I had two streams back to back. I had just hit like the 1,000 marker. Like it was like there's thousands of people in here, and I was like, what the heck is happening? The next two streams, I had nobody for like 2 hours, 4 hours altogether. It didn't break me, but I was like, that really hurt. Like it was like zero. I think one person came in eventually, but it was like nobody was there for the whole time. I remember Maddie would ask, she's like, how did your stream go? And I was like, well, I did it. But I was like, it didn't discourage me from streaming because it was like, dealing with, it's just an ebbs and flows of people.
Right.
Like, yeah. It was hurtful, yes. I'm not saying why she was hurt is not a valid reason. It was a valid reason. But just know you're going to be dealing, especially if you grow, you're going to be dealing with way worse things. Like,
oh yeah,
people break down on streams all the time. Or then, if you, out of luck, by chance, say something like really out of pocket and you have a lot of people, then they'll turn on you like really fast. But I don't know. I just feel like she just needed a space to vent it out.
Yeah, and that's fair too.
I think that's what this really was. But I mean, if this like shakes you to your core,
yeah,
maybe do post like stream something and then just post it as a YouTube video or like record it, because it doesn't change.
That's all for Huskers.
That's my water.
that confirmed it. That's Huskers.
Yeah, I get what you guys are saying. The story was a little confusing, and I think it was a lot, but I also understand the initial reason why she's upset, and I think that is a valid reason. She ends up talking about in the update, which I'm not going to read. She goes into detail that she basically made up with almost everybody, and she does acknowledge that her friends are immature. And
good for her.
She also goes on to say that it's not like they don't talk about that. Like, it makes sense of why they would have brought that up, but she was like, that's something that you talk about with your friends, like in privacy, not like in public. But at least for me, I understand what she's talking about, where she said, I have a random coming into the chat telling me like, show me your titties or something, and then it's like 3 or 4 of them, and then I don't know. I just get what she's saying.
I'm not against that at all.
And then she finds out it's her friends, and she's like, that's like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
He went behind the couch.
Yeah, I saw him.
What's he doing?
Oscar.
But yeah.
To me, it sounds like a lot of, it seems to me like this friend group is kind of like a toxic party. Like this next story.
I knew it was gonna happen.
That
was a good one.
Wait,
I feel like we should clear it up though. I guess final stance, I don't think she's wrong. I think what she's talking about is valid, and I didn't want it to be like one of those things where we like kind of like talk about it and then just kind of, because it happened with this last well, it'll be a month ago at this point, but it's like you guys are missing the point, So
well, because that's what I initially said was like, I do there's a thing with her being the female streamer that to me is the primary problem. But the way she speaks about it in the updates and everything, I'm like, this does not elevate to a story that, or at least the way she wrote it. Let's go with that. The way she wrote it does not elevate it to seem like a story that should be told, or it's not as deep as it is. Because I'm pretty sure in that subreddit, there's probably numerous stories of like what women are dealing with as creative content creators on platforms that are completely ridiculous. But to me, it's because it's your friends and you talk to them and they're like, okay, that's where I'm like, does this equate to the same situation?
Yeah. It's not to diminish that she doesn't have problems.
Because she does.
It's just
in the content, like she doesn't have problems. Well, she seems like she has.
It's the way you said it where I was like, I know you didn't mean it like that, but the way you were, because she does.
She does.
She does have problems.
Well, she was bawling when her fiance got home. So.
Am I the asshole for canceling our gender reveal party because I know my husband will be unhappy and possibly leave?
Are you the asshole for it?
For canceling it.
No.
Because she was guessing her
Also,
husband's
talk to
reaction.
your husband.
yeah.
Am I the asshole for canceling our gender reveal party because I know my husband will be unhappy and possibly leave? My 37 female husband, 43 male, and I have a son, 9 male together, and I'm currently pregnant with our second child. My husband and I have already booked the venue for the gender reveal and will lose the photographer's deposit and what we spent on decorations, etc. However, my husband is more concerned about the reputation effect as he grew up affluent, has a very high-paying job, and has a stake in a family business. However, I can tell that despite us having a boy who he absolutely adores, they can do no wrong in each other's eyes. My son also has every toy, fun activity, best clothing gifted by his dad. He desperately wants our second child, who we expect to be our last, to be a boy. I went into planning this reveal rationally that gender disappointment is okay, but I've come to realize that there is wishing you have a son, and then there's fixating on not having a daughter even more than wanting another son. And my husband falls in the second category. We didn't do a gender reveal party for our firstborn because my husband kept putting off whether or not he wanted to hear it from the doctor and when. We ended up learning with him ecstatic about having a son less than a month before giving birth. It's not all his fault. He grew up with an older dad who was always controlling towards his mother. Their town at the time was essentially a company town, and his dad threatened his family's jobs. Plus, he made it impossible for her to go about her day without seeing him until she agreed to be with him. My husband also pursued me pretty aggressively, and we had tension over how at times I felt uneasy around him. Yes, we've been in therapy over this.
Gosh.
Our marriage has been strained because I was done with him not understanding why my body was still not 100% 3 months after giving birth. He would counter by saying I turned down sex the day after giving birth, but that was him showing that he was attracted to me post-baby. Now his demons are back. We got to the point where he said fine to me going alone to hear the baby's gender without telling him, and I found out we're having a girl. I guess I don't have a good poker face by his negative reaction after I got home. He's arguing he doesn't know the baby's gender because I did not explicitly tell him that, but 100% he knows. I'd be fine with the reveal where the guests are the ones being surprised, but it's in a week, and with each day, my husband grows more withdrawn, and he's not the type who can fake happiness and often tries to leave and pull me away with him when he's really upset. I decided to pull the plug. Again, he's not mad about the money, yet he's angry that we're doing this to our family and friends and what this may say about him. I put my foot down. Am I the asshole?
No.
I'm scared for this woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am terrified for this woman.
Yeah.
Well, me personally, the gender reveal thing, people already like, they have different thoughts about gender reveal. But I still feel like it's for the parents. Me as a person, I've been to one in my life. I don't care about your gender of your kid. So they're like, you're going to be disappointing your friends and family. Are they like, I can't wait to go to that party. They canceled it. I really want to go to this gender reveal party. If the parents already know, it is pointless to me. Definitely cancel it, regardless of this very scary man. That's a whole nother story. Don't do it because it is going to be a girl, but who cares about it? Well,
I think it's because she's saying that he has a big ego. So if they were to cancel the party, which they are, people are going to be like, what's up with them? And then it's like bringing a questioning to him as a person. But I think this is a really scary situation because there are people in the world that really think having a daughter is like the worst thing in the world. Like, and it's really sad to see that, because we've seen it so many times with stories where the dad will find out that he's having a daughter and he was like, I will not be in their life. It's scary to hear the signs that were there before. Like, it reminds me of those TikToks where it's like kind of dark, but it's like dark humor where the mom will be telling the daughter about like, oh yeah, and like when I was your age, your husband, your dad chased me down and wouldn't let me say no to marrying him. But I don't know, it kind of was romantic now that I think about it. And the daughter's like, Mom,
You're a victim.
Dad kidnapped you. Like, the fact that she's just kind of okay with the fact that she was like, well, I don't know. It's like the way that he is. It's not weird to be super aggressive and not saying no. It's just like his dad did it. So it's like, that's just how he grew up. It's like, no. And then with the sexual stuff, like arguing with her about when her body is ready to have sex again. And yeah, this guy seems very scary.
So you were saying about the, a lot of guys have the mentality of like, oh, having a daughter would be the worst thing in the world. And I think that's true because a lot of men don't want to, well, I think that's true because that's something I remember feeling at some point in my life that, oh, I don't know if I could ever raise a daughter. And it wasn't ever because I didn't think I could do it. I didn't think I could handle, all the, the different problems that comes with raising a girl versus a boy. It was more of not wanting to reflect on why you think about that. Mm-hmm. That, oh, you don't want that because then you have to come to the realization that maybe there are a lot more problems with our society that affect women far more than they would with a man. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things I think that drives a lot of that frustration and anger towards that.
Mm-hmm. I could see that.
I can see frustration, but anger is where I'm like, I don't get anger behind it.
Well, it's just like probably more of a misogynistic viewpoint where he's like, men are better, so I want a son. I don't want a weak daughter, an emotional whatever daughter.
Or I don't want to have the responsibilities of protecting someone for all of their lives, Just the misogynistic mentality of that.
And I wonder if another thing, maybe to Josh's point of not why you were, but I wonder another aspect is if they were to have a daughter, then like you said, it would make them potentially reflect on how they treated women in the past and how they need to protect men. They need to protect their daughter from men that are just like them,
Yeah, the story just horrifies me. It doesn't. I was like, when you start describing all the stuff, I completely forgot it was about a baby reveal because I'm like, you need to get away from this man.
Yeah.
Well, it was interesting to me because have you guys seen those videos where they're like walking down the street like, hey, how'd you guys two meet? Like they ask couples how they meet. And there was one where it was like an old guy and they had met in the 80s. And it's funny how because we're in 2024, we look at their relationships from this lens, but I'm like, it was a different lens. There was like, I think he was like over the subway system and he was like making the subways late so he could talk to her for a couple of minutes and then he would let the trains go. And people were like, that's crazy. Like he was stopping this for many people going to work. and he was like, yeah, it was fine. She was like, yeah, it was
that's
crazy.
So romantic. I wish she would do that for me.
Well, it's things like that where you're like, now you're like, people are like, that's crazy. This man is a monster. He's abusing his power to talk to this woman. But she was like,
at the account of other people.
Yeah, on the account of other people. And she's like, yo, he's crazy like that. I don't know where I wanted to go with that, but I thought it was interesting, like how we look back at things of how people in those times got into relationships and started things, and how now, because OP here is like saying the flags, but she's saying them like
It's not that big of a deal.
Like she's like, I'm gonna live with it.
Or she just.
But she's saying like she knows. The lady in the 80s, she did it. The way she's talking about now is like she doesn't think it until someone confronts with her. OP's like, he was just like kind of aggressive when.
Yeah. It's like, these are natural behaviors of a person.
Which I'm wondering, is there a lot of fish in the sea where she's at? Or is he that rich that this is papering over some of the things that the red flags that she just put in her own story? We don't even know his life. We just know the red flags that have already been exhibited.
Well, the thing that scares me too, if she knows that he's that, he's gonna freak out over the fact of canceling a baby shower. Like, would he even? Which I know that's not a thing, but would he try and use his power to physically stop her from divorcing him? You know, like, because that's bad for his image type thing.
True.
Like, would it be even a challenge for her to voice that she wants to get a divorce? You know, like.
Well, because in the story, does she say she wants to be out of the relationship?
No, not necessarily. She said we worked through it. She said we've both been to therapy about it.
No.
But she's like, it's coming back. Like some of his behaviors are coming back.
The demons are back.
Yeah, she literally said the demons are
Which
back.
is scary. It's terrifying.
Yeah, like if you have to describe someone's bad habits as demons, I don't know.
I would say it's a Qdoba demon that I have.
And in a little fairness though, like even if you do therapy, sometimes you do kind of, regress a little bit, and that's okay. That's part of, the healing process and why you even go to therapy.
But I wonder if that's because of therapy is why she like sees it and recognizes it. Like Sam was talking about, where you're like, okay, that's not good behavior, but at least you're not even aware that it's happening to you. Like she's seeing the flags as red, and recognizing them again.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe this post of people also freaking out for her is going to be beneficial. So top comment, I feel sorry for you that you thought marrying him was a good idea. You need to work on your self-esteem. Not the asshole for canceling the party, but that is the least of your problems at this point.
Yeah.
And somebody else said, and not even considering leaving him now. Usually I don't think divorce him is the answer, but your daughter should not be around this man. So.
Self-esteem.
I don't know if that's, I don't know if that was
I was gonna say Reddit commenters are just so mean sometimes. Like, okay, you clearly see that this lady is going through something that's not.
Unless you post on r/comfort level pod.
Yeah.
Well, we're equally as bad over there.
Really?
Cut that.
I feel like you're like, okay, this one I'm gonna just.
I'm like delete.
But it's like, just that random jab out of no. Like, okay, if she didn't know, what did that jab help? If she does know, what did that jab of self-esteem help?
Right.
Quit being so mean. Just give it to them straight. You didn't have to say all that about the self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm still on the fence with that. I agree with you. I'm like, for the most part, I'm like, if I'm commenting or something, I'm not being mean. I'm not going to go insult someone. But also, you did post this publicly, so you're sometimes you're going to get what you're getting. The internet's the internet.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just, but it's like the digital age too. Like, the internet replaces a lot of spaces we do now, especially post COVID. So it's like when the world shut down, Reddit was all people could do. I don't know if a lot of people have that switch of mentality, but yeah.
Or they could break down to Elmo on Twitter.
Yeah.
That was sad. That was really sad.
It was cleansing though. Thank you. Shout out to Elmo.
Shout out Elmo, and we love you, man.
Never forget that tweet.
What did he say?
Like, how are you guys doing?
Yeah.
He's like, how are you
Elmo,
doing?
the official Elmo account?
Yeah, he's like, how are you doing? And people were just like unloading all of their things and the responses.
It was a weird time.
And I was like, I'm not qualified for the Elmo, not qualified.
Elmo got problems too.
Yeah,
Elmo hate Rocco.
Yeah.
I was literally just going to say, go talk to Rocco about it.
I feel bad for Elmo.
I wonder what evidence Elmo has against Rocco. Like this next story.
I was literally about to say something and I was like, oh, maybe Brandon's.
Well, we cut to do it, Sam. Do it.
Am I the asshole for leaving photographic evidence of my husband cheating somewhere his parents should not have looked?
That's a very specific question.
I, female 30, kicked my husband, 28 male, out of my house. It was my house prior to us getting married, and it remains my house now. I knew when I married him that he was bisexual. I was okay with it as long as he understood that we were monogamous. I said that I would never agree to an open relationship, and if that was what he wanted, he needed to be with someone else. He agreed and said that I was the person he wanted to be with, and that I was more than enough to satisfy him. He lied.
Oh.
I found out he was having an affair with a man. I went through his iPad and took all of the pictures for myself, graphic, in the Mapplethorpe kind of way. When I confronted him, he became physically aggressive. I was scared. He calmed down when I got Siri to call 911, and he left. Anyway, I did not want him in my house again, ever. When he wanted his things, I asked him to make a list and send it to me. I found every single thing on the list. I asked him where to send the box. He said that he would pick it up. I told him that I would not let him set foot in my house and that I would call the cops if he tried. He said that he would send friends to get his stuff, and I said I would leave his box of crap with the front desk at my work. He didn't want to make the drive into the city. We compromised. I agreed to give his parents a temporary code to my house. They are lovely people, and I trusted them. I could see everything on my security system, and I would know if he tried getting in the house. The deal was that they would use the code, get the box from the front entrance, then close and lock the door. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Instead, it went difficult, lemon fucked. I've never heard that before.
I never really made that up.
Oh,
because easy peasy lemon squeezy.
I guess he didn't have everything on his list. He asked them to get something from my room, not the deal at all. I had my pictures of his infidelity in my room, in my chest of drawers, in an envelope. So to reiterate, to find those pictures, his mom had to go past our agreed limit into the house. Then she had to enter my bedroom, open my chest of drawers, open an envelope, and look at what was inside. I felt violated watching the video. Then I giggled like a little kid. It was pretty funny. I see them come into the house. They use the code and open the door. His dad comes in and grabs the box. He goes back to their vehicle with the car. His mom hesitates before walking into my house and going to my room. She goes to my chest and opens up the top drawer where we kept a box full of jewelry. She sees an envelope with his name on it. She looks around. I'm not sure why. And then she looks at the contents. She screams. I assume since I have my feed on video only. Then she stuffs the pictures back in, closes the drawer, and goes running for the truck. My father-in-law comes to the door, locks it, and leaves. I guess he never told his parents about his proclivities. To say that this has created a problem for him is to take it lightly. I get a call from him. He says I left the pictures out for his parents to find. I did not. I should have scattered them on top of the box his parents picked up, but that felt cruel and unnecessary. Like I said, I have always found them to be lovely people. I told him where the pictures were. He said that he forgot about a ring that he left off of the list, and he told his mom where it should be. I said I would have tossed it in the box if he told me, and he said that he forgot until they were on their way. He's upset that his parents know he is a power bottom. He's not happy at their house. He is not happy at their house now, and he is going to find somewhere else to stay. He said I'm an asshole for causing this problem. I think there are other candidates for assholes. 1, him for cheating. 2, him for getting his parents to go against our agreement. 3, his mom for going against our agreement. 4, his mom for snooping. 5, his parents for homophobia.
And 6, him.
No, come on.
I don't have a... Anyway, that's it, so...
Before we start, Robert Mapplethorpe, he was a photographer who was famous for nudes, male and female nudes. Most controversial works document and examine the gay male BDSM subculture in the 60s and 70s.
So potentially some BDSM in those pictures.
He had some pictures.
What's the power bottom?
Oh, honey.
It's like a bossy bottom.
But back to the story. Yeah, the story. No, you're not the asshole. The mom, she kept snooping and she found out. She found a special prize. I'm never going to advocate for cheaters being mad or getting upset about their misdeeds coming out. I'm like OP. I'm like, I'm not gonna like put your business out there. I'm not gonna put the pictures. OP didn't put the pictures on the box or anything. Didn't set them out. So if I didn't do that and OP didn't do that, then that's fine. If you found it, you found it. I'm sorry, mom, dad. You got to deal with it.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Wait, did he tell his parents why they were divorcing?
I don't think so.
What did he say?
Even if he said he was cheating, I don't know if they knew it was with a man.
Yeah, he just was like,
got caught up.
Yeah, you know what it is.
Yeah, I think it's clear that this guy is just really frustrated with all of the problems that he has made for himself and has to deal with the repercussions now.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're not the asshole.
Yeah, in what world could he be mad? Is what I'm trying to understand. There's no way you can be mad.
Cheaters always tend to be mad when they get caught.
Well, maybe there was a misunderstanding. If the mom is saying, I found these pictures of you while getting what you asked me to get, and then OP has to clarify saying, well, you know that she went digging into my personal drawer,
Right.
into an envelope that was already enclosed itself. Like, it wasn't obvious where it was. She had to go digging for it, and she just happened to open the area that it was.
Right.
So maybe that was a miscommunication there.
But she clarified it. She was like,
Afterwards,
yeah.
but he initially,
but it
I
seemed
think
like
he
he was-
initially confronted her because of that.
but it seemed like he was still doubling down. He's still mad. Isn't like how the story ends? Like, she's like, yeah, it was in this drawer. He was like, well, I told her to go in to get the ring. She's like, well, that should be the end of it. Like, okay, she found something else. He's still mad at it happening and blaming her.
Yeah, his excuse was, I only thought about it as they're on the way there. It's like, okay, well, no.
Because I don't get him still being, well, the only thing I get he could still be mad is, I know with some people, because I've seen stories about it where people are outed to their parents in ways they didn't want to be outed. And they'll get mad at the person where, not when the person purposely outs them, but when like something happens and it comes to their attention through someone else that they are gay or bisexual, and their parents react negatively to it, they'll get overly mad at the person who it happened on accident instead of, because they don't feel like they can be angry at their parents. So like that could be something where he's like, I feel really disappointed in how my parents are reacting to it, because it does seem like they have homophobia, like they're having a negative reaction to it. And so now he's just gonna put all his anger towards his ex now, unnecessarily, because he's like, this wouldn't have happened if they didn't see the pictures, even though it was a complete accident. You're like, now I'm just gonna be angry at you instead of being mad at the person I want to be mad at,
Yeah.
which is my parents.
Yeah, I can see that too.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, the fact that he just had candid pictures at all, that's
I feel like
Come on.
pictures are so dangerous.
It's
They can
not
really be in,
cheating, man.
especially if you're cheating. Because I don't
want
remember how
evidence.
she even had them, and then she took pictures of them.
It was
She
on.
just
She got
took
them
the
off the
photos.
iPad.
Oh,
Like,
it was
just
on
the
his
drawers?
iPad.
Yeah,
Oh,
That's
okay. So I
crazy.
did write iPad,
Yeah, she got
and
off
I was
the
like, so
iPad.
then how'd she get?
she
Wait,
printed
She
them
just
off.
she just took the pictures of it on the iPad.
But then she go to Walgreens, get one photo.
Yeah,
1 hour
did she take
photo?
photo? Did she print them?
Or did she have
I
a
mean,
dark room?
she must have, because they were in an envelope. Yeah.
Now this is
Because I
getting a
want to know
little
the dude
weird.
at Walgreens who was like, he's like developing. He's like, oh,
Actually,
oh.
He's like, is
at
this-
Walmart, we couldn't, if they did stuff like photos like that, we
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to sell it to them. Like, we had to throw them away.
Oh,
Well, we had to
Are you
shred them.
serious?
We had to shred them and throw it
Wait,
away.
what?
Yeah. It went against a policy.
yeah, because legally that's
Then how do
probably
you get
like,
your nudes printed?
well, legally that's probably how, like, you know how when, like in high schools and stuff like that, if someone sends nudes around, but if the person's underage,
Yeah.
that can be considered distributing
Well, yeah.
child pornography.
I get that.
I imagine it's the same way. If it's like, oh, I'm selling a service to develop pornography.
But if you're
There's
two
a lot
old
of laws
people, I should be able to
around
get
that.
my nudes done. If I prove to you, I'm like,
Sure, it's one
I'm
of
in
those.
my 30s. Can you print my picture, my dick off?
Why'd you say
Jeez.
old people when then you said you're in your 30s?
Well, older. I meant older.
Because when you said old, I thought you were talking about like 80s, 90s. Like
Well, they definitely
Cheryl is
should.
coming up with Bobbert,
Shout out to Cheryl
and
Bobbert.
you know, she's like,
Well,
"Did
they
you
don't
throw
need
away
it.
the photos?"
Why are you-
Because that was the last time that Bobbert could do what he could do, and that was the picture that we saved.
Well,
Miss
they have
Cheryl, why are you
oil.
being so
They have
Why are you
aggressive?
grasping? Why are you
Why are you being so
grasping
aggressive,
Bobbert
Miss
like
Cheryl?
Because
please.
I wanted to give that. I wanted to give him that.
Cheryl, let me go.
Bobbert, I've got
Cheryl,
some
on
bad
hand.
news. I got some bad news, Bobbert. I can't legally sell you these developed titty pictures, even if they are of your wife.
They're Bob's titty pictures.
Oh, Bob's.
Oh.
Oh.
Is that why it's actually, because I was looking over his shoulder while I was developing it,
I-
and it's actually in 3 separate pictures.
Who
the titty
are you?
stretches between. I'm just a guy.
You
who
don't
came
even
in.
work here.
I know, but I saw titties and I came
So why
in.
does he get to see them, but I don't get to see them? I wanted to frame them of Bobbert.
Yeah, Bobbert. Why are your titties so long, bro?
That's private.
Okay.
Age.
And I don't know
You'll
you.
get there.
And you whippersnapper need to get out of here.
I'm just saying there's a panorama mode that you could get the full
All right.
thing instead of taking.
We're cutting it. We're cutting it now.
And scene.
End scene. So you do what acted out. So who's who? Mom, dad, OP, and husband.
I'll be mom.
I'll be dad.
Always wants to be married to me.
What do you want?
Maybe I like the same word.
No, you want to be married to me.
I guess I'll be husband.
Okay.
OP, okay.
Wrong one.
Nope.
Beep, boop, 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 boop. Oh. Oh.
What?
Hey, do you have those pictures that you took for my iPad and then you deleted?
Don't worry about it. What?
Okay, so
what do
you
you
do.
want?
I just, well, you know, my mom's gonna come pick up the box of stuff today, right?
Yes, I do know that.
And I was
but
wondering if you had them, maybe you could give me a copy, because my iPad got stolen, and I can't recover anything on it because I didn't get the cloud storage.
Womp womp. Is the cheater not thinking things through again?
Listen, those pictures were art. I don't know if you saw them, but the way that everything was posed was on purpose. It was for my community college photography assignment, and I'm sorry that we fell in love.
Oh my gosh. It's like the artsiness of it all, you know, just the positions and the way it just kind of slivered through our marriage and it just kind of blew out into this great big divorce.
Something was blown out. Yeah, but
Hey now. Hey now.
Yeah.
No, I don't have a copy and you can't have a copy and
so you don't have a copy.
no.
Okay.
Does it sound like they're still flirting?
Yeah, there is. I don't know.
All right. Well, I'll see you later because of
Wait, just to re-clarify, they're only coming through the front door to the little box that you have in the front area.
yeah.
The front living, that's it.
Yeah.
Nowhere else.
Yeah, it's my mom and dad. Of course they would only do that.
I'm just making sure you know.
And you're cute for doing that. Like, I don't know if you I don't know
Bye.
if like
Bye, Felicia.
Honey,
love
are you
you.
ready?
Yeah,
Are you ready to go?
Yeah, Gerald.
I headed back for the big game.
Okay.
It's on TV. Let's go.
Okay, we're going. Let's call our son. Hey, dee.
Mama!
Hey, baby. We're going to the house. Oh my God. Who's screaming back there?
I got a dog.
You got.
I just have a big void in my life that I need to fill, so I got a dog.
Okay, interesting. I'm not mad at it, but we're heading over to your old house. We going to get the box, and that's what we're getting?
Is that our son?
Yeah, that's your son.
Hey, tell him I'm
Daddy!
proud of him.
Hey,
Hey, son, I'm proud of you.
Hey, thanks, Dad.
Not for the divorce, but I'm proud of you.
Did you see the pictures? I
What
mean,
pictures?
wait, what?
Huh? I'm sorry.
Wait. Sorry.
Did he say something
Sorry.
Something on pictures.
I think there was a TV on in the background.
Okay.
What I meant to say was, I think I forgot to tell you about a ring, Mom.
Gerald, look at the road. Oh my God.
Hello, are you guys
Jeez.
okay?
He's just kind of going like this back and forth. We
Those
almost
people
crashed.
need to watch where they're going.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, is he
Okay.
playing Grand Theft Auto in
Yeah,
real life
you
again?
know how your dad is.
How many points was it? Did he get like? Did he rob?
clipped
Did he
a guy
grab the
in
money?
a wheelchair. I don't know if that counts as any points.
Was that his old buddy though from high school?
Was it?
I mean, we live in a small
Honey.
Get
town.
out of here, Mark. Come on. Get out of the
Get-
road.
let's keep
Get your
going.
wheel. Stop wheeling in the middle of the road,
Gerald,
Mark.
go.
You quit driving.
Oh my
you don't
God,
even
Mark.
you don't even need the license no
Okay,
more.
Mark,
we
I'm
know
sorry.
you're faking. We know
Mark,
you're
how
faking.
are
Just
you
keep
keeping
us
up
never
with
Never
us?
faking.
We're driving at full speed. How are you keeping up with us? You're so fast.
I've been like this all my life.
Mark
Mark
was
is
a
so
triathlete
fast.
after-
I
after
like how
all.
Mark's arms are.
Yeah, I've been like this all my life. You feel me?
Gerald, I wish you could.
Hey, don't be
Stronger
looking
than
at my wife.
Oh my bad.
Hey.
But like,
Okay,
if-
sorry,
if-
honey. So we're going to get the
Right.
box. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot. There's a ring in the top drawer
Okay.
where she happens to keep a lot of things.
Okay.
And she might have an envelope.
Okay.
And if she has an envelope,
Right.
Maybe grab that for me as well.
I got you, boo.
But don't look in it.
Oh, okay, grab it. Don't
All right,
look in it.
Hey, we're
Don't
here,
look at it
honey,
and grab
we're
the
here.
ring.
I didn't
We're
hear what you
here.
said at the last
And
part,
grab
so
the
I
ring.
gotta
Don't
go.
look at
Bye.
it.
Bye.
Don't
Sorry.
look.
You gotta
Bye.
go.
We're leaving. Love you.
Okay, are you gonna run in yet, or do you?
You get the boxes. You're not as strong as Mark, but you can carry the box, right?
I'll show you how strong I really
Yeah,
am.
go.
I'm on the way. You better keep running,
Don't
Gerald.
throw your
You better
back.
keep running.
Mark,
Go mind your own business, all right?
I think Gerald needs help. He's barely holding his box. Gerald! Gerald!
Look like Gerald.
Oh,
What's
my
your name,
God.
baby
I
girl?
got it. I
Look like
got
you
it.
need a real
Oh,
man. You
my
know?
God, Mark.
Stop it.
One
knock
with big
it off.
arms.
Mark, that's crazy.
I've been brother like this all my life.
I've lost all respect for you.
Oh my God, this isn't gonna be the only divorce. in
Hand the
family.
box to Mark because this is crazy.
Here you go, Mark.
I'm
give
gonna
me
go
the
get the
box.
ring, okay?
Yeah, this ain't nothing. Look at it. Look at it, baby
Oh
girl.
my God. Mark, when I come back from this ring, we need to talk because I have some questions for you. Okay.
I got some circus tricks too.
Oh.
Look, one wheel.
Mark, chill. Mark, chill.
Mark.
This is crazy.
There's
Okay.
Mark being extra again.
Gerald, I'm going to get the
There
ring,
you go.
okay?
Okay, she's inside. It looks
This is
like.
the, oh, here's the envelope.
Oh, how rich!
How about I?
Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, she's gonna do it.
Okay.
Honey, honey, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong?
Look at
Yep,
these
yep. Go ahead.
pictures.
Are those Miles Thorpe?
No.
Oh.
Actually, it does look like Maplethorpe. I don't know who
Maplethorpe.
Miles
Yeah,
is.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, these are very Maplethorpe.
Not,
yes.
not that I would know anything about that.
Yeah,
Screen
actually, why are you so
recording this one.
knowing
Not,
about that?
not that I know. Oh, that's
He's
gross.
really big in the 60s and 70s gay BDSM.
I mean, you
subculture.
gross.
Oh,
Oh, we're a traditional Christian family here.
I'm not sad that he's gay, but he's a power bottom.
I'm gonna have to call him back and tell him I'm disappointed in him.
Oh my gosh. Where's Mark at?
Call him. Do you want to call him?
Look like you need a real man to come hold you.
Mark, chill out.
Come over here. You
Hey.
know,
Hold on.
get in my arms.
Get out of
Thank
here,
you, Mark.
No, you get out of here.
Hey, ow.
Drive away. Watch
God,
me.
your arms are so strong.
Oh my gosh.
God.
It's like I'm in a car. He's going so fast.
Honey, no.
Bye, Gerald.
No.
Gerald, I'm sorry. I'm with Mark now.
Hey, you got to make the engine noises for me, baby girl.
Take the photos. You'll talk to her son. I live with Mark now.
We going off in the sunset.
Oh.
My big arms.
All right, I guess I haven't heard anything from my family, so I'm just gonna go by the house. Dad, Dad, are you okay?
What is even happening? Who is that guy in the wheelchair?
Do you remember Mark?
Yeah,
that guy
guy's so
who pretends to
cool.
be
I
in a
mean,
wheelchair.
He pretends to be in a wheelchair.
Well, that's
Mark, you're a
debatable.
good kisser too.
Wait, actually, Dad, get in my car. I just saw something around the corner I think you need to see.
Okay, all
All
right.
right.
Oh, she's watching. Oh, good driving though, son.
Oh my
Hey,
God,
were
Mark
you?
is
Hey, were
bench
you a
pressing
power
me.
bottom?
Mark, why are you bench pressing me?
What did you just say to me?
No, hey, is that your mom?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's,
man. Yep.
that's what I just saw around the corner.
Mark, chill out. Hey,
5,
Oh,
honey,
6,
honey, where
Mom.
you doing?
7.
Mark, what do you think you're doing with my mom, man?
wait.
Mom, do you not care about
Mark's in the pictures with.
It was for an art project. He was my professor. We happen. I don't want to talk about this. I'm not ready to talk about this yet.
We're messing with the same guy. The
same guy.
Mark's the man in the wheelchair, and he is the
Same guy. The same guy.
I'll pull off in the sunset with your mama because we were with the same
Same
guy.
The
same guy.
Which one do you like better? Is it me or is it him?
Because
With
it's
the
a
same guy. The same guy.
This makes me really sad because I actually was in love with Mark, but he's with my mom, like the same guy. The same guy.
Oh, I broke my hip, and now I think I lost my marriage.
To the
Same guy. The same guy.
I just want to know what's happening in my own house with the
Same guy. The same guy.
And scene. Wow. What an ending.
That's a great ending.
r/comfort level pod
Check
merch
it out,
down below.
baby.
Same guy merch coming soon.
Don't promise that. Cut that, Brandon.
Shout out to the people in the stream who've seen us did the same guy ending before. Tip off. Watch the stream.
Watch the stream.
Watch the stream.
Would I be the asshole for dumping my girlfriend after she ignored my calls and messages and went clubbing while I was undergoing emergency surgery? I, 22 male, and my girlfriend, 22 female, have been together for 5 years. We've been together since high school, and until recently, I've always considered her to be my future wife. I even bought a ring and was planning on proposing over the coming months. Well, last weekend, it was my girlfriend's best friend's birthday. She and her friends booked a private lounge at a club. Obviously, I didn't go since 1, I wasn't invited, and 2, I hate clubbing or anything associated with that. I was actually looking forward to spending an evening alone and just binging Netflix or something. Well, my girlfriend left around 9 p.m. and I just crashed on the couch and started watching YouTube. Well, around 11 p.m., I started to feel this distinct stomach pain. The same pain you experience when someone hits you in the nuts. It wasn't bad at first, and I just thought my body was playing some tricks on me. But in a span of about 5 minutes, the pain just kept getting worse until I was basically stuck in the fetal position on the couch. Again, initially, I just thought the pain would go, but then I pulled down my pants and it felt like my right testicle was starting to swell.
Oh no.
The moment I tried to get up and grab my phone to inspect whatever the fuck was happening to me, I just collapsed on the floor. That was probably the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. Imagine being pelted in the nuts over and over again. I did manage to crawl to the table next to the couch to get my phone. I immediately tried calling my girlfriend, but she declined my call. I then texted her that something was wrong and she should come home immediately. The club she went to is like a 5-minute walk from our apartment. I just put the phone down and started throwing up because of the pain. After throwing up for like a minute, it felt like the pain started to cool down a bit, and I grabbed my phone again, and that's when I saw her response. She just replied with a, "What is it?" Like with that emoji, like.
Oh, brother.
I tried calling her again, but as expected, she just declined again. I then texted her that I need to go to the hospital now. She then asked for what? And I just replied that my balls hurt. I just then dialed for emergency services. I explained my situation to the emergency responder, and she asked if there was somebody that could drive me to the hospital, and I stupidly said yes. I thought my girlfriend would be home soon and she would drive me to the hospital. I felt embarrassed to call an ambulance because my balls hurt. After I told the emergency responder this, she then told me that she would call me again in 10 minutes to make sure I was being driven to the hospital.
Oh, wow.
I then put the phone down and went back to vomiting in our carpet.
Oh, my gosh.
Again, after the pain went away for a bit, I checked my phone and saw that my girlfriend just responded with laughing emojis. I again tried to call her, but as expected, she just declined. She texted me that this wasn't the time to play games, and she then told me that if I texted or called her again, she would block my number.
Oh, my God.
I tried calling her again, but she declined again, and when I tried calling her a second time, I realized she actually blocked me.
Wow.
I went back to curling up on the floor, and now I started shivering. At this point, I didn't care about being embarrassed, and I just called the emergency services again and asked for an ambulance. It felt like an eternity, but the ambulance eventually came and rushed me to the hospital. I don't remember much of the surgery since I was sedated, but I remember waking up eventually and my right testicle was being stitched together.
Ooh.
The doctor informed me that I had testicular torsion.
I knew it. I knew it.
And I was extremely lucky to reach the hospital in time. I could have easily been forced to surgically remove my testicle. I checked my phone and saw the missed calls and messages my girlfriend left me. In summary, she came home from clubbing and smelled the vomit in our apartment. When she saw the vomit on our carpet, she got mad and tried searching the apartment to find me. When she realized I wasn't there, only then did it hit her that I was actually being serious. I just texted her in which hospital I was staying in and my room number, and then I went to sleep. I woke up the next morning and saw my girlfriend on the couch next to me. After she woke up, she started bombarding me with apologies. She thought I was joking, that I was trying to ruin the night, etc. I didn't have the energy to argue, so I just kept quiet. I was beyond hurt by what she did, and I wanted to break up with her then and there. Why the fuck would somebody ignore 3 messages where their partner is begging them to come home? Not only that, she stayed in the club until 3 a.m. and didn't even consider going home to check on me. She did stay with me in the hospital for the remaining 2 days. I was admitted there and did take good care of me, but I was still beyond pissed at her. Ever since coming home yesterday, I've been wanting to dump her. But at the same time, I feel like she genuinely thought I was joking and made a mistake. I feel conflicted and I don't know how to proceed in this situation. Would I be the asshole if I dumped her? Am I overreacting? And then edit just to clarify. No, I never had an issue with her going out in the first place or have ever pulled pranks for her to come home from a night out. Am I the asshole?
Yeah, because that would be my first question. Had this be done before? Had you made a prank?
No, I think I know the reason for this.
Tell us.
I think it's because it's the first time that as a couple they had faced like a truly challenging scenario. You know, like where there's
In 5 years? This is the first time?
I mean, they've been together since what, high school?
Yeah.
Like they're only 22.
22.
So
I don't know.
it's not that much of. A lot of people don't really go through their first hardships for a while.
That's fair.
Especially if you're. I mean, since what you've been. I don't know how long this person's been clubbing their whole life, but 22 clubbing, and it's not the first time. I mean, must have some sort of. I imagine they have some sort of stability and privilege in their life to be able to have that. So, I imagine they don't have many other hardships in their life. But that's my theory. Comment below if you agree.
Testicular contortionist.
Brandon had a whole thing where he was obsessed with it.
It's my worst fear. Because I did research on it. There's no known causes to make it happen, and it's like 3 in 10 men can get it.
Wait, 3 in 10?
Yeah. And so it's like
1, 2, 3. Oh, I think it would be 10 people.
yeah,
And
it has to be
count.
10.
And we go 1, 2, 3.
But just one of our
Yeah.
testicles.
Yeah.
1, 2,
Oh,
3.
so there's 6 testicles. Is it 1
3
in
and 10.
I mean, it's
3 in
almost
10
a third
testicles?
because a third is
6 and
33.3.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on.
3
let
out
me
of
make
10
sure.
is 30%.
So one of our testicles has it.
This is boy math.
One of your testicles is about to get torsed.
Don't say-
Torsted.
Torted.
Torn.
Torn. No, torn?
Twisted.
Wait, how many 3 in 10 are torn?
Twisted.
Wait, I thought
Torsion.
I didn't know it had
Because
no
isn't
cause.
it like where your testicle twists
Yeah.
until eventually it like
I
loses,
thought it happened from like some kind of activity.
Like.
like Netflix apparently. Netflix and torsion. That's tough.
That is
Boo.
tough.
Does someone boo?
No, that's really tough.
I don't have it.
No. Oh, conveniently the card is gone. We can't boo anymore. Look at it.
Boo.
Sorry, I decided to make bad jokes
Now
when the card's
she's
gone.
checking all the bad jokes. She's like, I've been waiting.
I'm saying everything.
But Netflix and torsion is pretty good, actually. So I'm kind of into it. The fact that it just comes out of nowhere.
Wait. My math is off.
Oh,
I mean, not my math.
Okay, I was like 3 out of 10 is scary.
Okay, never mind.
We're
It's,
mad.
it's a lot different.
Oh,
What
One
was
in
it? Don't leave us
4,000.
in suspense.
what?
1 in 4,000.
Oh my God, that's
come
way
on.
different than 3. I'm like 30% of men get it. That's crazy.
But still, like the no known causes of it.
Yeah, that's actually a scary.
That's what horrifies me because it's like I could be just setting myself up to get that, and so the fact
It's
that he's like,
slowly twisting right now. You don't
and,
know.
like now I'm starting to get.
I feel like your testicle is just like in the sack, just like
Just
twisting
like,
like I'm gonna get you, Brandon.
Don't.
Just
no,
release
it's when I
the
teach you how to Doug. You just like,
You're like, stop, go to the other side. It's like, it just keeps
He's
going
like, I
to
can't
the
do
side.
the other side
Yeah,
as
it's
good
like,
as I can
only
do this
Doug you
side.
to this side.
it's a fake out.
Slide to the left.
But when I hit this
Slide to the left.
No, to the right.
Slide to the
No,
left.
come on.
please to the right.
Slide to the left.
Please.
Crisscross. You're like, no.
Whoa! Okay, that's good.
But yeah, and then it's the fact that it can just happen, and then it's slow pain, and then he's just sitting there,
Yeah.
just taking it like, no, someone's got me.
She got me.
No. After the first 5 minutes, I'm like, it's all me. I gotta
go.
I gotta go. Someone gotta get me. But that, yeah. So that was my reaction. I'm completely horrified of that.
Yeah, because I'm in the rule where you're like texting. Oh yeah, it could be a joke. But if you call me multiple times, anyone calls me multiple times,
Yeah.
I decline and someone calls me again, I'm like, that's an emergency. The only way I wouldn't think it is if there were previous histories of a joke. Like he had cried wolf before of like, oh, I'm dying, or like something. You know how you joke with your
I'm fading.
yeah, I'm fading away. That's the only reason why I could give her a pass of like she shouldn't have reacted more hastily to it. Unless she was already drunk and she just didn't care because she was just faded and she didn't care at all.
I think it's pretty fair to say like, oh, that's kind of a weird series of text messages to get.
Yeah.
But I think the point where I was like completely against her when she was like, "You do this again, I'll block your number."
Yeah, that is actually 100%.
People who block your number as a tactic.
Your girlfriend, your boyfriend, you block them?
Yeah, that's just.
Well, something else, another person, a commenter pointed out is it's a 5-minute walk. So take 10 minutes out of your night to go check on your boyfriend to see if he's actually being serious.
And then you can be pissed
and
at
then you
him.
can go back.
Yeah.
You walk, you're so close. Even if you are drunk, take the 5-minute walk,
Right.
go there,
Oh my
and
God.
boom.
That's right.
Yeah.
Speaking of 10 minutes, shout out to the emergency responder
Like
for
this.
for calling. Nope.
I forgot the words.
He has something to say, Maddie. No. She's like this.
Next.
I forgot the words.
Just start spamming it.
The emergency responder.
Yeah.
Right.
The emergency responder.
That's not common, I feel.
Yeah, it was like, oh, I'll call back in 10 minutes. That's nice.
Yeah, that was very nice. I love that.
Didn't he say though it was like 20 minutes he hadn't heard anything and like
Okay, never mind.
I don't know.
Cancel the emergency responder. You lied.
I don't know.
Why
And
you
I guess
always
if he was just waiting in general, like I don't know. I don't know how accurate that was. I know that he was waiting to see
Yeah.
if his girlfriend would actually come, but
Maybe it was like 20 minutes since it started.
I will say though, I do agree with your point of like maybe even if you're joking in the beginning of like, all right, come on, like this has never happened before. Like Josh was saying, this is the first real big like emergency and you just weren't ready for it because it's never happened before.
Yeah.
But after like you said, like the third time, it's are you okay? Because you're blowing up my phone
Right.
and it's not funny anymore if this is a joke.
Right.
And he's like, I'm not joking
I
with
moved
you.
past the joke when I called you 4 times.
Because I do get what he's saying where if Brandon were to text me that he needs to go to the hospital because his balls hurt, I'm like, Brandon, what? But I don't know if maybe he could have described it.
You would call though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would have come to check on him.
Yeah.
But it does seem like maybe she's like, doesn't okay. Like what happened, you know? Because I just don't have I wish there was an equivalent. You know how they have like a machine for women with cramps that they give for men just so they can understand what cramps are.
Yeah.
I wish that there was also kind of a machine too for like men with like getting kicked in the balls, just so I could understand what that, because I don't even know what that feeling feels like. And the only way that you can rationalize it is my balls hurt.
But I'm like, there's different.
Or
Just like,
describe it.
I'm sure like women have different ways that they feel the pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Getting hit in the balls is different than I'm sure physical or torsion.
And I promise
torsion is.
I've had bigger pain than getting hit in the balls before.
yeah.
What you been doing? We're recording. Maddie, cut that. Someone got to cut that out. We can't do that. This is my friend, and we can't have that out there.
I kind of want to keep that in.
No,
That's
we
kind of
can't.
pretty funny.
It's actually crazy that he said that.
Now leave all of that
Yeah,
in.
you have to leave it in because.
I was going to.
Oh.
Wait, are we
It's
going back
good.
to it though?
Yeah, you gotta
Yeah,
go back
I
to
mean,
it.
feel like we were done.
I was
Oh,
just
I'm
going to
sorry.
say,
I wasn't
don't.
trying to.
I was just going to basically say, I wonder if there was a better way that he could have described it.
But
I'm not trying.
Pain.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say like describe it better, buddy, or else you would have. I think she should have been more responsive as like the girlfriend to be like, okay, let me make sure that you're okay before.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
I
still
can
a
continue
5-year
my night.
relationship.
But I do agree
Yeah.
with you. Like, if it was just a text, like it was that serious, it's like, I need to go to the hospital. My balls hurt. For me, just hearing the text, I'm like, that's a joke. I'm not.
I
Shut
would've-
up.
I would have said maybe I need to go to the hospital. Something's wrong.
Yeah,
Because then that brings more severity. Because just like if you specify like especially with the ball. Like it could be something.
I know
like,
that's
yeah.
why.
But again,
But
to
he's
not
not thinking straight.
But the phone calls change it for me.
Because
the
of
texts
the pain.
are I'm like
Yeah.
I giddily get. Oh, I'm like that's not a big deal. But the calls, several calls, is like, and you're declining them actively.
just answer the
Just
freaking
answer
call.
the phone.
it could only be if it was a prank. It's gonna last 1 minute.
Yeah, and you can yell at him like, "Really, your balls are?" He's like Phil, this, or like whatever joke you would make. He's like, "No, they're like
I'm
slowly
puking everywhere."
twisting in my body." Yeah,
Ah!
the puking thing
You just
would.
you just hear in the background, to the left,
to
the left.
You're like, what is that? It's
to
like,
the
I'm thinking
left. I think it was a little funny what I just wanted to reiterate. I think it's funny what he said, but I don't think I think she should have answered the calls,
Yeah.
responded to the second text when he's like, no, I'm being serious. So
Wait, so I guess the question, should they break up?
Wow.
oh yeah.
I was literally
Yeah.
just about to say,
Yeah.
is this grounds?
Oh, your
We're
cousins.
breaking.
Yeah.
Cousins.
I don't have that either.
She has no sound effects.
I did it for you. Don't
Oh,
worry.
thanks. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know because it is really hurtful, and I
Yeah.
feel like it could be really hard to come back from. Of like, all right, we just did our test of like, I needed to go to the hospital. This was an emergency, and you failed.
Yeah.
But also, I feel like maybe I think they could come back from that.
Yeah.
But if they both want to, you know.
If he loses a testicle, 100% grounds for break up.
Say remove.
After one thing's removed, I got to remove you too.
Even it out. I got
Yeah.
one testicle.
Because that's hard to come back from. You're like, I actually lost something because of you. But because it was a happy ending, it was caught in time, there is something that I think there's something you can move on from.
Happy.
And she did stay there for the 2 days while he was in the hospital. So at least she showed her remorse.
The moment she realized,
Yeah, that she actually realized.
she was with him the whole time.
I just wish I could be a fly on the wall just to see her reaction when she first realized, like, because I think that's the other thing. She gets mad immediately after she sees the throw up. Like, it's not like he's a messy person or something. I don't know.
Well-
like, I can understand being like, oh, dang, now we got to clean this up. But it's like, you get mad. Like, you got the weird text. He's spam calling you.
Yeah.
You go in, and your first reaction when you see the throw up is to get upset. Not, oh, shoot. Not that, like, a step faster, you know?
Well, that might be a reason to break over. Like she's slow because it literally took all those things. They were just like all floating around her, and then when she saw he wasn't there, she was like, it was like, oh, he is badly in pain and hurt.
I don't want to say in her defense, but I mean she was drunk and it was 3 a.m.
Yeah,
Was she drunk?
we don't know if she's drunk,
Well,
but
she
she
was
was at the
clubbing.
club.
That's
Ain't
true.
gotta be drunk,
That's true.
though.
You don't gotta be at the club at the drunk.
Am I the asshole for leaving after my girlfriend gave birth to our disabled child?
Yeah, this is serious from that title,
Oh, wow.
and I respectfully bow out of this story. I will have no comment for this, and I'll let you three handle it.
Okay. I grew up in a home with a disabled brother. All of my parents' money and attention went to him. They pretty much forgot that I existed. All of our family activities were predicated on my brother's ability to participate. I did not qualify for financial aid. I was not a great student, and honestly, attending college would have been a waste of money. Instead, my grandfather helped me find a job in the oil rigs. It's hard, dirty, lonely work, but it pays very well. I started as a floor hand apprentice. It's basically the lowest of the low. I did not cut off my family, but I did not go out of my way to stay in contact. I was working in another state, and they did not have time for me anyway. I got a call about 10 years later. My little brother had passed away. I went to the funeral, and my folks looked about 25 years older. It was good to see them, but I left pretty quickly afterwards. It's hard to explain, but I never really got attached to them since they had ignored me since I was 5. I was never abused or anything. I was just sort of a second thought. When my girlfriend got pregnant, I was really happy. We'd been together for 3 years, and I was happy for her. I hope I was making her happy. We talked about it, and we decided to get all the tests so we could know if we were going to have a healthy baby. Before the first test, we agreed that if we were not having a healthy baby, then we would not be having a baby. I know it's a horrible thing to contemplate, but I have been through that life for 13 years, and I was free of it with no interest in going back. One of the tests came back positive for one of the conditions that we decided we did not want in a child. Please understand that I am not in any way saying that people with disabilities should not be born, only that I knew I would not want to be around for that. We had a second, third, and even a fourth opinion. I spent a lot of my savings on tests that insurance would not cover in full. It was not a great time. Then my girlfriend said that she changed her mind, that she could not terminate. I argued with her for days, weeks, until it was too late. I told her that I would not choose to be around her to help with the child, that I would pay child support, but that was it. Our relationship was on cruise control from then on until the baby was born. I made sure she got home safe from the hospital, and then I went to work, and then I never went back. I paid the child support that I'm ordered to pay by court. I did not fight it or dodge it, but I have not seen her or the child since the hospital. I got married 3 years later. We were expecting our first child, and I heard from my ex, the child has passed away. She wanted me to come to the funeral. I said no. I knew it was coming. It was still a gut punch, though. My parents are upset with me for how I handled things. They went to the funeral. I told them that I did not want the life that they had while my brother was alive, and that my ex had tried to force me into it after agreeing not to. They said they were disappointed that they had not raised me right. I got angry and said that they had not raised me at all. I asked them to show me anything they had from my childhood that showed that they had taken the slightest interest in me. They said that wasn't fair because they had to care for my brother. I just said that was my point and I hung up. I feel like shit about the whole thing, but my ex knew how I felt and why. To this day, I do not understand why she changed her mind. My wife and I talked before getting married and made the same decision, and thank God we did not have to make it, but she understood how I felt. Her mom and dad talked to us about it, and they told us that we had to do what was best for us. I had told them everything about my past that was relevant to my relationship with their daughter. Sorry for rambling, but I guess I'm just trying to put all the thoughts down while I have the courage to ask. Am I the asshole?
Mm-hmm.
We usually
I see why you guys brought me on now. I get it.
we usually look to Sam, but he doesn't want to say anything. So
You're out?
Actually, this is a good story.
I do want to. I
wanna
actually
say
do want to
something.
know your opinion.
Yeah. But you start.
you want to go
me
first,
to? Okay,
Josh?
I'll start. Objectively, this guy's the asshole. He's especially asshole for not going to the funeral, but I respect all of his decisions.
Mm-hmm.
I think another crazy detail, just to get the why I think he's an asshole out of the way, is like 10 years without speaking to your family, your blood family, your mom, dad, even, I mean, just to avoid, interacting with that problem,
Mm-hmm.
which I believe that's how he characterizes it. But that being said, I can respect wanting a healthy baby. It's something I've personally thought a lot about, whether or not I wanted to have children, because I gotten what I have from my mother. Granted, what we have is incredibly non-severe and not intrusive like many other disabilities out there, but it's still kind of a rough decision, because you're like, is this something that's always going to be able to pass on? Do I want to is that something I want to put on to someone else if there's that risk that maybe they don't turn out like me, or they don't turn out like my mom, and maybe it's worse. And it's all these things kind of just run through your head. And it seems like he had an especially difficult decision, internal monologue, because it sounded like they always knew it was going to be fatal. And that's rough. Yeah. I mean, even if you completely disregard, that it's considered a disability, if you tell a mother and father that their healthy child is destined to die in less than 10 years, do you still go through with it? Do you think you would go through with it? Like, I think that's especially an even more incredibly difficult thing to wrestle with.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great question.
Yeah,
that's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's the asshole. And because I was thinking about it, and I should have added in the perspective that he probably knew that she was going to pass away, but I was thinking about it where I probably relate more to the baby's mother, where even though you're like, this is something that I have to prepare myself for, something new that I have to learn about, that I have to understand, I feel like I would probably still want to spend time with the baby, especially if I'm just what I hear, like the emotions that you go through, like once you like see your baby.
Yeah.
I feel like even just spending 2 years with something that you and your husband created might be worth, you know, the fact that you know that it's not going to last forever. And I definitely understand that that's a really tough decision though. But it honestly reminds me of a scene that I saw on Love is Blind like a few seasons ago with Nancy, where she was basically talking to Bartise about if the baby, same thing, certain tests the baby was positive for, would you, she wanted to have the abortion as well, of like, I don't want to go through with the pregnancy, and Bartise was against it. And a lot of people were basically coming at her afterwards, like as the episode aired, because they're like, that's very ableist of you to be like, the baby is not meeting a certain requirements in your head that you're like, no, we're going to terminate the pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wonder if this is also ableist. But the thing that I wonder, that's the biggest thing, is the fact that the baby will pass away. Like, you don't know how long the baby's going to live for. But I feel like for me, I'm like, I feel like I would still want to spend time with the baby, at least meet the baby, you know? I don't know. But the funeral thing is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that his situation, I'll say this last thing, his situation is worse because he hasn't chosen, that I know, to get therapy yet for what is happening in his childhood, that he's messed up. We're all messed up. We get messed up from childhood, whether our parents mean to do it or not. Things happen in our life, but this is something really big. So much so that he said, I have dealt with this so much in my life when I was younger that I will not deal with this with my kids. I'm not going to be what my parents were. And I wonder if things would have been different if he had therapy and could have healed as much as he possibly could before he was faced with this decision.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Because that's exactly what was going through my head, Maddie, was he is so messed up from what happened to him in his childhood that this is what he's reacting to. These decisions are because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like he is tying it to like he knows why he doesn't want to go through this in his life. But I don't know if he realizes how incredibly cold is the not going to the funeral. Because that's the only part where I was like, okay, he for sure is the asshole. Because I do like in relationships where you guys are talking about it. This is not like an oopsie thing and you guys are talking about after the fact. You talked about what you would do. Like, this is something important to you. Whether the reasons are valid or not, whether he's acting out of his trauma or anything, they did talk about it. And so him saying that I'm not going to be in this baby's life and I'm just only going to pay child support, because it's a baby, I think most people are going to react to that negatively. Like, you should be. But I'm like, I think he did express his boundaries. This is how it happened. He is taking responsibility and financially, and he doesn't want to be in that child's life. How much that hurts to hear, I'm fine with that. But then, like, when the baby's gone and, like, just doing the human thing of, like, this is something we still both created. And, like, to be there for you in this moment, I feel like that's a human thing to do. And that's an asshole thing that you didn't show up. That's where I think the parents were mad. They're like, really?
Because that's not, when you go to a funeral, you're not necessarily just there for the person who died. The last funeral I went, I didn't really care about the person who died.
Yeah, because you don't have a lot of emotion, so you've never actually felt anything about it.
But I cared deeply about the person who had the loss, and I was like, I wanted to be there for them. So to kind of just be dismissive of the parents, maybe that's again some therapy thing I may need to go through. But the woman you expected to have a baby with the first time, that is a little cold.
But I think you both brought up great questions. Like, is it ableist to be like, to know something's going to happen or have a good inkling that something's going to happen and to make the decision to not do it? because I do remember the Bartiz thing, and I'm like, that was a big question. Because I do think it's interesting to say because doctors still do get things wrong. There's people who are like, oh yeah, you're going to be dead in the next 10 years, and there's people who are like 40, 50 years old. They're right a lot of times, but they're not right all the time. So to make the decision saying, oh, for sure this is going to happen, that's already kind of a roll of the dice. But if you're saying that I don't want my child to experience issues when you know they're already going to experience issues just being a human in the world, and you're like, well, I don't want my child to experience that. I don't know if that's ableist, but I'm like, maybe I don't understand.
So ableism is the discrimination of and social prejudice against people with disabilities based on the belief that typical abilities are superior. At its heart, ableism is rooted in the assumption that disabled people require fixing and defines people by their disability. So in a way, I kind of wish...
Because it could come down to where you feel abortion is. If you're like, abortion is murder, and you're like, okay, so you're killing someone because they're not up to your standard of what it should be. Mm-hmm. That could seem like very detrimental. Or if most people are like, well, I don't think they're a baby until they're a baby, then they're like, this is just me doing a medical procedure to, quote unquote, get rid of something that shouldn't be here. Mm-hmm. But then it makes me sad too, because I'm like, my friend who I love a lot, if his dad felt that way, it was like, our son is going to have the same thing that your mom has. And like, he was just like, yeah, I'm out. That would suck too. So I'm like, there's like, it's hard for me to get mad either way, because I'm like, I can see you justify it. But I think however how you're tied to the subject can make you feel emotional one way or the other.
Yeah, because I'm like, I guess I get why he got there. But even thinking about the fact that he's said, I'm doing what the courts require of me, I'm giving, child support. I feel like having a baby is like so difficult on your own. And then having a baby who needs like certain things from you or like extra things from you that you need to learn here and now specifically for your child, like that just makes it even harder. And so even the fact that he's like, I'm done, I'm not going to raise the baby. I don't know. I just feel like he's not even thinking about like how hard it must have been for her, but maybe the fact that he's like, I will be out if this happens. But yeah.
I think the other thing to consider, it came from his bloodline, right?
I don't know.
Was it the same thing that happened to his brother?
His brother. So it's coming from his bloodline. I don't know.
I guess it makes it feel more. He's like, yeah, I definitely don't want. I know what it was like.
I know what it was like, but it's like you also have a part in how the outcome is.
I think the detail where you guys are probably all missing is something that I didn't really think about until, I don't know, probably in the last 5-10 years. They were able to test that. And there's a couple of things that kind of implies that there's a kind of couple of things to think about that. If you can test it, so there are certain things you can like test for that, right? And you can the fact that you can do that, it's still pretty new. Mm-hmm. And they even have like the different ways to like filter your genetic material so that you can say, okay, well, this one's highly likely to be have less genetic mutations, et cetera, et cetera. And that stuff didn't always exist. And kind of in that same breath, there are the medicine's constantly evolving. Mm-hmm. So perhaps maybe you could even argue that, it was wrong because perhaps in the near future, that kind of condition could actually be can be brought under control and that child could live a full life. Mm-hmm. But again, these are just, I'm not trying to argue one way or another for that, but it's just to bring the light more the depth, the fact that there's more depth in this thought process than I don't want to have a disabled kid.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm wondering about like the ethical concerns of people with the advent of medicine of having like designer babies where they're like placing genes specifically together to make a viable or a great outcome for the baby. Like where's the line where we're going at where you're almost trying to
create the perfect specimen?
Yeah. In a way where I can feel from other people who are disabled, who are like, I'm living my life and I'm living my life to the fullest. This is not something, it's not something that I would wish on people, but it's not something hindering me. So you guys making a big deal of it it's not that serious. But then as a parent, you're like, well, I don't want my kid to go through those difficulties. Is that something? I don't know. It's like, what should happen just should happen almost. I feel like most of the time. Mm-hmm. But are we just ignoring what medicine can tell us too? Mm-hmm. Like, is that something we should be paying attention to?
I think that's an interesting question, right? Because it is like, is it humanity's duty to progress humanity? Like, is that our duty as an individual to say, okay, if I have the choice, I should make it?
Right.
Or do you, at what point do you sacrifice your independence for odd, ethical dilemmas we haven't really had to think about for that long in human history?
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of questions up in the air. But I think we can all agree that the funeral was like, you should have been there.
Yeah. I would have went to the funeral.
Yeah.
Because personally, I just, regardless of any of them, like, I don't like deadbeat dads. Deadbeat dads suck. Anyone who's getting out of it, and if you're paying financially, so I'm like against that completely. But I do think it's stemming from his trauma that he has not dealt with, and that's why he's acting the way he is. Mm-hmm. That's still barely an excuse to me. You brought a child into the world. That's what happens. Mm-hmm. If you didn't want to have a child, you'd have done things to not have a child. So that's where I'm like, I don't feel too sorry for you. You're still responsible for this. Whether she changed her mind or not.
Because at the end of the day, it's her choice too.
Yep.
Damn, this was depressing.
I thought it was good. I thought it was a good story.
It is a good story.
See, these are the stories that I like, but they're so serious and like they're heavy. Mm-hmm. They're very, very heavy. But it actually was like, it is pretty sad.
I do hope we get a lot of conversation in the comments for this. I know I'm playing the camera a bit, but I would like to hear people's thoughts on what they think about all these dilemmas and
who are you talking to?
Stuff. Huh?
He's talking to the audience.
Talking to the microphone. Yeah, to the audience.
Oh, we don't post this anywhere, Josh. We're just talking.
Is this an intervention?
Yeah, Josh, this is for you.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Okay, so this last story is, am I the asshole for explaining to my husband he's the reason why we keep having daughters?
We have another angry father pissed about having daughters.
I, 30 female, have 2 daughters and am currently pregnant with my 3rd girl. We just found out this morning. On the drive to my husband's mother's house, he explained how he was a bit disappointed about having a girl, but then he said, I should have expected this because you have 3 sisters. I explained that me having 3 sisters has nothing to do with the gender of our child. He says it's genetics and that I'm the reason for our daughters. I told him that's not how biology works, and he says it is. He then went on to explain that his mom only has brothers, and his 2 oldest brothers both have 2 sons because his mom's side. I told him that doesn't make any sense because it should be the same for him then. He said no, because both of their wives have more brothers than sisters. He was getting frustrated, but I was just laughing at him. I explained that him and his oldest 2 brothers have different dads, but out of his dad's 8 kids, 3 are boys and 5 are girls. The men determine the gender. He said, no, that's not true, because the kid his dad had with his mom are all boys. He dropped it and said he'll ask his mom, who has a degree in biology. So we get to his parents' house for brunch, and he asks his mom if I'm the reason why he keeps having girls. She told him bluntly that no, men determine the gender, and it's actually not a 50-50 chance. She then went on to explain that the more of one gender you have, the higher the chances your next child is also going to be that gender. So he asked, is it likely that he'll have a boy? She told him that if he keeps trying, it might happen. He just walked to the car and said he's going for a drive. I received a text from him saying that I didn't have to embarrass... I received a text from him saying that I didn't have to embarrass him like that. And I was so confused. Am I the asshole?
Oh, yeah.
He's like, no,
Deserved.
I know biology. So my mom's into biology.
He
so-
got mad about the
He texted,
truth.
he's like, I'm in Montana. He drove like far. He's like, I just drove.
Yeah, the way he was talking, I thought he had a PhD in genetics or something.
So yeah, it's just another story about kids, but also the dad being a little silly.
No, the back and forth was cracking me up. He's like, well, actually, no, my brother has 3 sons. My other brother has 2 sons. So that means it's your fault, not mine.
Boy
she-
math.
And she's like, no, but they all have different dads. And he was like, yeah, we have the same mom.
Yeah. So you get it.
Duh.
Pretty easy to know.
Yeah.
Quick math.
I did not know that it was more likely to have.
I didn't know either, because it's interesting because my siblings, I have 1 sister and 2 brothers. So it was boy, girl, boy, girl. So I wonder, I was a surprise. They didn't know about me.
You were surprised?
Yeah, they were going to stop at 3.
Oh,
They were like, financially, we need to stop at 3.
we almost didn't have this podcast.
I know my mom says it all the time. She's like, yeah, you almost weren't here. And Nathan would have been the youngest. And I would have been like, oof.
And I would have never knew Mama G then.
Thanks, everybody, for coming to another episode of Cover Little Pod. Josh, thanks for being on.
Thank you,
Thank
Josh.
you.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you
you,
guys for having me. I missed you
Oh,
guys.
something you did not say, but that is your sweatshirt that you bought, right?
Yes, and there's no reason to bring that fact up at all. But you can find the
Wait, he bought
sweatshirt
it?
in the link below. Yeah, I bought it.
Yeah, because remember last time he was wearing my sweatshirt and he was trying to take it
Yeah.
home. And I was
Yeah.
like, no, please don't.
She was this close. She was this
I
close.
don't remember you bringing this sweatshirt.
Yes, because I was carrying it.
Oh, okay. Something's weird about that.
No,
That's because you were busy daydreaming about my mom.
I
Yeah.
wasn't daydreaming
Yep.
about her.
And we'll see you guys next week.
She's a beautiful woman.
All right. Bye.
Bye.